Hey everybody, welcome to the Buttered Home. I'm Brooke and welcome to my messy kitchen. We're going to be here on most Monday nights and we're going to do something different every Monday night. Tonight we're going to make an old-fashioned white roux. Now I'm going to use the white roux for a recipe that I posted last week for a Brussels sprouts casserole. But we won't go into too much about the casserole because it's mainly about the white roux tonight. So you see, I've got milk, I've got cheese, I've already par-cooked my onions and my Brussels sprouts, and I have about 3 tablespoons of butter and some flour. And I'll say some flour because sometimes the rule of thumb for a roux is equal parts of butter and flour, but that's not always what you want. So I just put about 3 heaping tablespoons of flour on my mat, and we can add more if needed. I also have about 2 cups of milk because I want this roux to be very thick. And then I've got some cheese because we're actually going to turn it into a bechamel sauce. White roux are really versatile and you can use them for all sorts of recipes. First thing you're going to do is you're going to add your butter and you're going to let that melt. Make sure my fire is hot. And the one thing about a roux is you can use it for soups. You can use it for scallop potatoes. You can use it for anything that you need like a thick white sauce for. Roux are also good for gravy. Sawmill gravy, which in the South is a peppered white gravy, start with a white roux. Now, a white roux is the first phase of the roux, and that's the one that you don't cook quite as long. You just cook it until the flour taste kind of comes out. There are other different levels, I guess you could say, of a roux, and that's a blonde roux, which you let cook a little bit longer, and then a brown roux, which you can use in things like gumbo. So we won't be cooking it that long, and you have to be real careful the longer that you cook it because you don't want to burn it. You don't want it to have a burnt taste. So we're going to add about half of our flour. And at this point, I'm going to switch to a whisk. These flat whisks are great. Now, you see how the flour is incorporated into the butter. It's just kind of creamy looking right now, so I want to add just a tad more flour to it because I like for my roux to actually form a ball. There we go. You see how it's pulling from the sides? It's almost like making biscuits. Now, we're just going to let that sit a little bit, and we're going to add a little flour and a little pepper. You can also add things like oil or garlic. You can do this with bacon fat. Any fat that you choose. Butter is just my choice because, well, you know, it's the Buttered Home. So you're going to let that cook for 1 to 2 minutes. And y'all, I promise, there are people who have told me that they kind of shy away from making things like soups or bisques or things like that call for a roux because they're scared of it. So my goal tonight is to show you that it's not hard and it's not intimidating. Now the reason why you cook it is you don't want it to taste like flour. This is just simply a thickening agent for whatever you're going to do with it. Whether it be macaroni and cheese, scalloped potatoes, a soup of some kind, it really doesn't matter. And you'll start to, gosh, I wish y'all could smell it. It smells really good. And you'll know it by the smell more than anything else. When you start to smell almost the butter, the sugars in the butter caramelizing, you'll know that it's ready. It no longer smells all floury. The good thing about this is you can season it as you go, and you should season as you go anyway, especially when you add different layers to your cooking. Alright, it smells like we're about there. So I'm going to take my milk and I'm going to slowly drizzle it in. You know, there's all kind of reasons why you add things slow. But you're adding a cold liquid to a hot pan, and that can be catastrophic. And also, you know, if you've ever tempered eggs, it's kind of the same principle. You're tempering your flour while you're bringing the temperature of your milk up. So I'm going to add in 2 cups of milk. And the general rule on a roux is, let's just say if you're cooking a basic roux, 2 tablespoons of flour, 2 tablespoons of butter, and 2 cups of milk. It's real easy to remember. It's 2, 2, 2. Like I said, I want my sauce to be thick, really thick. So I've kind of backed that down a little bit. And you'll see over here, I didn't use all the flour because the butter is the main, it's the star. So you want the butter, you only want to put enough flour in there to just kind of take up your butter. So now, after you've added your liquid, you want to stir it constantly and make sure that all those bits of flour kind of break back apart. They bust open. And it's the same principle with biscuits and putting a fat in biscuits. What happens is that butter heats up and it expands and it releases all that beautiful flavor into whatever you're cooking. And one thing I want to add at this point, if you have lumps, hey, it's fine. We live in the South. Lumpy gravy or anything else is, I mean, that's a good thing. Just as long as you don't bite into a big hunk of flour. So you might see that you have some, and at this point, it's starting to get thick. So I'm going to turn my heat down. And you'll see that just about all my lumps are gone. And I want to show you how quickly it got thick. Now, one thing my Aunt Peggy taught me to test to see if your gravy is ready is to take your wooden spoon and kind of, same thing you do with candy, and you just swipe there. And if it doesn't run, then you're good. Now, I want mine just a tad thicker than that, so I'm going to cook it just a little bit longer. And a good thing about swiping your spoon is you can taste your gravy or your roux at that point. And I just tasted it, and it needs a little more flour. I mean, a little more salt. And a little more pepper. Y'all, this is good on biscuits, just like this. You don't have to do anything else to it. So we're only at about the 3-minute cooking time. And I wish you would look. We have this beautiful, beautiful sauce. I'm going to run my spoon in it one more time. And see, it does not move. So that's where you want it. Ooh, it tastes good. So at this point, I'm going to turn my heat off. And I'm adding Parmesan cheese to mine. About ½ cup. Now, I don't add cheese to my roux until I've turned the heat off because you don't want to burn it. You want that cheese just to kind of melt in there. And I didn't add very much salt because I'm using Parmesan cheese. It's already naturally salty anyway. No lumps. Look at how beautiful. How beautiful that is. And I promise you it tastes even better than it looks. So now I'm going to add my Brussels sprouts and my onions. Ooh, I cooked about 5 pieces of bacon, and I left the grease in the pan. Also using a cast iron pan. The more you cook in a cast iron pan, the better. It just soaks up all that flavor. We're going to be doing a segment in a few weeks, maybe even next week, on seasoning a cast iron pan. So now we're just going to fold that in. And you can see the cheese in it. Ooh. I'm going to lightly spray my pan. And because don't want to make a mess or possibly break anything, I'm actually going to use a spoon to put it in my pan. If it were just me here, I'd probably yell for one of my youngins to come and help me. And I'd pick this hot pan up with my pinchers. These are great, by the way. Little claw pinchers. They are hard to get used to. I know I've had a couple of people when I've made comments say that they've not gotten used to them, so they don't use them. But they are they're very effective. That silicone is great. And you know, part of the premise of my messy kitchen is I make a mess when I cook. But I also clean up when I cook. Now, I'm not really cleaning up tonight because I'm too busy talking to you guys. And, you know, if anybody has any questions, feel free to ask them at any point. I forgot to mention that. So I'm just going to move this hot pan out of my way. And then I'm going to spread this out. And people, if you don't like Brussels sprouts, you don't know what you're missing. Especially if you doctor them up like this with cheese and a white roux. Ooh, goodness. And then the big thing, that bacon that I said I cooked. Ooh, there it comes. We're going to spread that bacon on top. Now, I love a healthy recipe, but this ain't one. You got a question?
Stephanie Sleesman wants to know, what are you cooking? She was late.
Oh, Stephanie, I cooked a white roux, so you can go back and watch it from the beginning. But now I'm just making like a a Brussels sprout casserole. Now, because I want that bacon kind of mixed in. The BuzzFeed video actually had leeks. I'm using what I had on hand, and I used onions. And I will come in after we cook this and put some buttered breadcrumbs on top and a little more cheese. But y'all, look at how thick and glorious that is. And that took maybe 4 minutes. Maybe 4 minutes. And you can use that for all different kind of applications. So now I'm going to put this in the oven at 375 for 15 minutes. And we're good to go. So now we're going to move over here, and I'm going to give you a chance to take questions if you'd like. Okay, we got to get our fancy light set back up. But I'm here. I still need you. We're here. Oh, thank you, Stacy. Hey, Johnny Johnson. Let's do some knee busters. Okay. Sorry, y'all. Oh, thank you, Ray. Oh, Marion, she is the one who actually told me she had a little difficult time with her pinchers, or silicone pinchers. But she used them tonight. She did pretty good. Not to be used to them. That's great. Hey, neighbor. Oh, thank you, Johnny. My hair. Golly, we got to stop talking about my hair. Y'all need to watch Tanner's videos and not mine. But thank you. Tanner, my daughter, my hair should look good. We put her through a year of really like fancy cosmetology school at the Aveda Institute. So, but she could braid before that. Tonight we've been all working together. Danny's been my comment man. Reagan's been taking pictures while we were doing this because this is the first time that we cooked live. Tanner actually did my filming until we moved over here. Thank you, Alicia. Oh, I've known that baby since she was little bitty. All right, y'all got any questions? And if anybody missed the roux, I hate it. You could go back and watch it. We're going to have the video posted on our page. And literally it took 4 minutes to make it. So I hope that this will be similar to what I've seen from comments from people about their Instant Pot. Their Instant Pot, I've had 3 people in the last 3 days comment that they have used theirs for the first time. One, and I won't name any names, Michelle, who's had hers for a long time but been scared to use it. So, and there's James Tucker. Hey, that's the campfire cook right there. He makes the best biscuits over an open fire that anybody I know. So I'm gonna stay live for a few more minutes if y'all want to ask any questions. White roux is great. It's a base for all kind of different gravies, and of course the longer you cook it, the more brown it gets. And if you needed like a dark gravy, you could do that and use a beef stock. Hey Patty, good to have you here. Great. I'm so glad to see all these first time people here. It's wonderful to have y'all. I thank y'all for everybody that's come on board in this last week. If you ever have any questions, you don't have to wait until Monday night. You can send me, come on over, Amy. You can send me a message and I'll do whatever I can to help you. I'm trying to post videos every Sunday that are kind of like some really, really easy tutorials on the Instant Pot. I love my Instant Pot. I want to spread the Instant Pot love, and I want other people to use them, but I also want to show some older methods of cooking too, like we did tonight. Hey Amy. Hey Alexis, I'm glad to have you here for your first time. Oh, Stephanie, there's no limit to what you can use. You can use broccoli, you can use potatoes, you can use any kind of vegetable that you want. I mean, there's no limit to what you can do with a white roux. If you need a cheese sauce, don't go buy one. You only need 3 or 4 tablespoons of flour and butter and some milk. And most times, most home cooks have all that already in their pantry. If you don't, you should. So, anybody else got any questions? If not, I can talk about a few things that we have on the horizon. I'm really excited about a 2-part video sequence that I'll be posting the end of this week on how to use your Instant Pot to cook a whole chicken. And I mean, cook the whole chicken. I mean, nothing wasted. You use every last bit of it, and that's no lie. And I'm going to leave you hanging one day with part 1 and then go to part 2 on the next day. So you'll have to come back so that you can see the whole bird being done. I'm real open to feedback about what people want to see. Shoot me a message, comment on something. I'm loving all these hearts. Anything that anybody wants to see and share with me. And I'm all about having guests here. I've already told my friend Stacy, who was one of the first ones watching, hey Sam, that she's got to come and she's got to cook. And she's got an air fryer and I want one, but she's got to come to my kitchen. She's got to come to the messy kitchen to show me why I want one. Fried green tomatoes, hey, we can do that. My plants are full of green tomatoes. We might do that next week. That's a great idea. Let me put that on my list. We've also got chicken and dumplings coming up. I cooked a big old chicken, like a almost 5.5 pound chicken. So I've got to do something. That might be a video so that I can go into a little more detail, because I don't want to spend too much time taking up Facebook world. But we'll certainly do that chicken and dumplings for you, because that's kind of part of the whole bird. Gosh, I'm so glad to see everybody here. We are right at about 20 minutes. Sweet potatoes. Yeah, I'll do some sweet potatoes. My cousin Joyce, and she will tell you that she doesn't cook, but I went to her house one night, and my husband will tell you that when she and I get together, we talk a lot. I don't know why he would think that. I don't talk a lot. Anyhow, she cooked some cubed sweet potatoes with red onions, just broiled them in the oven. They were fantastic. Ray, you're just as bad as my husband. I do these smashed red potatoes in the fryer with this lemon butter sauce on the top. We'll do those too. And I am not going to give away the steak and potato recipe. I'm not going to give away the pound cake recipe for James, for anybody who wants to know. As far as I know, me and James Tucker are the only two people on this planet who know how to make my steak and potato soup. But I might let you peek in just a little bit. Oh, Mariana, you have it. Shh, don't tell anybody. You're family, though. James is the only other person who's not family that would have that recipe. Well, I hope this hasn't been awkward. I really enjoy doing this. My family, they've been great to help me, and they wait to eat supper until like 8:30, 9 o'clock on Monday nights. So I really appreciate them doing that. But y'all be sure and stay tuned, because we've got a lot more this week coming up. I'm real excited about those 2 whole bird videos and the segment we have on that. And also, if you haven't, go to thebutteredhome.com and sign up for my newsletter. I'm sending stuff out to people who sign up for the newsletter that I'm not putting on Facebook. Exclusive recipes, content to kind of get to know me and my family better. I have a blog at least once a week that, I'd love for you to read it. I love to write. Next to cooking, writing is that's my thing. That's what I like to do. And some of it's pretty funny. So I would really like to have you all go to thebutteredhome.com and sign up for the email newsletter. And I would also like for you, if you have any questions, I've got some products for sale on there, some stuff that I use. My salt well that you saw tonight, my flat whisk, which are great. I have some of the accessory packs for the Instant Pot on there. So if you're kind of looking for some stuff to kind of beef up your kitchen game, you can go to my store at thebutteredhome.com. And if there's anything you'd like to see there for me to offer, also let me know. And again, it's great. It's great to have y'all here, and share my page. We're almost to 400 likes, and don't forget about that. I'm going to be having that contest at 500 likes to give away those Pampered Chef knives. So once we get close to 500 likes, I'm going to want you people to share it up, and let's get some more people in here, and that'll make you eligible to win something for free. So again, shoot me a message, anything you want to see, any questions you might have, and let us know. Oh, you want to show Polly? Tanner's got to stick Polly in here. Hey, Polly. I guess Polly and Jasper are the Buttered Home mascots. Jasper's too busy running around to be on camera, but I've got a little sweet story about him coming up in the blog too. You won't want to miss. Everybody who knows me knows that we have a special place in our hearts for our dog Jasper. He's hearing impaired, and I think he taught us more than we taught him, and he is a very important part of our family. So I thank you all for coming. Thank you all for watching. If I forgot to cover anything, just ask me a question, and I'll be glad to get with you just as quick as I can. And we thank you all for coming to the Buttered Home, and y'all have a great and wonderful Monday night. Bye.